Hi, how are you? Welcome to the weekly musings once again. Bank holiday Monday, the 29th of August in the UK. I hope you're hopefully getting a day off and enjoying your day, whatever you may be up to. I wanted to do something slightly different this week. I'm not actually pulling any cards this week. I want to shake these weekly check-ins and musings up a little bit so that things don't become stale. Okay, so hopefully you'll not be too disappointed, but I wanted to talk this week about the concept of imposter syndrome. So I want to know, and I want you to tell me in the comments, whether you're watching this on YouTube, whether you're listening on the pod, or if you're reading the blog on the website, leave me a comment and let me know. Because imposter syndrome is something that comes up again and again for many of the people I work with, and for some of my students who are trying to break into the world of spiritual business. They feel like imposters, they feel like they can't do it, that they're, that it's not right for them. For people of all walks of life, I think at some point we've all lived with imposter syndrome. That feeling that you just aren't good enough, or that some person's going to show up at your door with a clipboard and say, oh no, you can't do what you're doing, you can't run your business this way, or you can't go for that promotion, you can't take that job. Maybe it's also because you feel awkward sometimes when you do show up as yourself. You feel a bit icky, you feel like there's something not quite right. You've got that feeling in the back of your head, back of your mind, that you are in some way fraudulent. Does that resonate? Has that happened to you? I think it's happened to us all. I know it's certainly happened to me. But a concept that I was introduced to this week is that imposter syndrome is often a symptom of a deep disconnect between who you are inside and who you are presenting yourself to be on the outside. And that can take a little bit of, it can trigger you a little bit. It can make you question things. It does require that you look at that shadow side of yourself a little bit more. Maybe you're presenting yourself on the outside as someone who's really outgoing and confident, but on the inside, you're feeling really doubtful and insecure. Maybe you talk about being a really strong, empowered woman or man, but behind the scenes, you're living a lie. Or something I see quite a lot in the spiritual industry, people saying you should walk your talk, but then they don't. And we see it on social media. We see it in social media all the time. People only share the good bits, right? They only show their best bits to the world. Everything's filtered, everything's, look at me, it's so wonderful. Instagram's like a highlights reel. It's not real, okay? You don't get much of the real deal most of the time, particularly if you follow celebrity accounts in particular. But people hide their truth so much. People have a disconnect between what's going on inside them and what's going on outside them. And sometimes when we see these highlights, these wonderful images on social media, we start to doubt ourselves even more, and we start to compare ourselves. And that's not nice. But it's really important that you remember that often they are far from the truth and they're not real. But imposter syndrome creeps in everywhere. And as a spiritual business owner and coach, I find that I see it in this industry all the time. The feeling when you see some expert online, expert in inverted commas, someone who's telling you to be really happy and healthy, but behind the scenes they're living a really unhealthy life or have some really unhealthy habits, or, and I'm going to hold my hands up here. I don't ever preach about being physically fit and healthy, because I'm not particularly physically fit. It's a work in progress. Okay. But, Maybe someone who's promoting love and light, but your bullshit detector goes off in the background because you know there's something, you can't put your finger on it, but you know there's something just not quite right, because energy doesn't lie. So if someone's being all love and light and, you know, positive vibes and everything, but then behind the scenes, you know, you happen to bump into them and they're maybe full of rage and anger, or worse still, you know, all over their public page, they're all love, light and rainbows and butterflies, and on their personal private page, they're venting and giving off all the time. There's a disconnect. It's absolutely valid to express feelings, but there's a disconnect. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if it makes sense. You know, one that I used to see all the time is, you know, someone saying, oh, you know, telling you how you should practice your spirituality. There's no should. You do it your way. Okay? Someone who's telling you must meditate all the time, but they've never meditated a day in their life. But they've read a book on it. You know, these fake experts that are out there. So does this resonate? Does it make sense? Like, nobody's perfect, and certainly not me. I have really had to work on this. But I've learned that dealing with imposter syndrome is easy if you live with integrity. So what does integrity mean? Well, integrity means doing the right thing even when no one's watching. Showing up as your true self as much as possible. Now, no one's saying, excuse me, no one is saying that you have to show up and air all your dirty laundry out there. I just get a wee drink. But showing up and being authentic, having the same offline life as you do online, if you're going to put yourself out there. But it doesn't even have to be online as such. It can be, you know, the faces that we put on to our work colleagues, the persona we hide behind when we go out the door and then we change when we come home. There needs to be a connection. You need to be the same person outside as you are inside. Otherwise, imposter syndrome creeps in. You know, I've had to really work hard on this. I've been working with a mentor recently. And she said to me, if I was the same person online as I was offline, because you all know, obviously, I run a business and I'm online because you're watching this. And I said, yeah, pretty much. I think I'm pretty much the same person offline as I am online. And she says, okay. And I genuinely believed that. And then she pressed me a little harder and she said, so, she says, do you ever stop yourself from really going after something that you want? You know, maybe investing in yourself, investing in your business. You know you really want it. Do you ever stop yourself? And I said, oh God, yeah, all the time. And she asked me why that was. And I had to sit with that for a wee while. You know, why would I sabotage myself? Why do we? You know, what stops me investing in myself or investing in my business, or, you know, what stops me actually grabbing opportunities with both hands? Apart from money itself, you know, so just sometimes some of them are simply just ridiculously expensive and they're too far out of my reach. But is there a deeper reason why I don't always go after what I want? And this might be something that you can resonate with or you can reflect on. It's a good one for journaling with. So on reflection, I realized it was fear. Fear of not being good enough. Maybe also a concern that, you know, whatever it was I was going after wouldn't work for me, or I wouldn't be able to do it. Or bigger still, that maybe my family would tell me that I really disappointed them because I'd wasted money. And then I realized there it is, disappointment. And I think that came from growing up watching my parents struggle for money. Subconsciously, I think I was afraid for many years to spend money, to invest. Worried what my family would think if they saw me doing something different. You know, so for many years I conformed and had the normal job and the corporate land and everything, because I felt that maybe subconsciously anyway, I think I was feeling that if I broke the mold and, came out of the spiritual closet as a Reiki teacher, that might just be too much for my family. And I think it also came from many years of trying to please people, because we do that a lot, don't we? Never wanting to disappoint my family, always trying to do what they wanted or expected, and slowly losing my voice along the way. It's that disconnect that causes imposter syndrome. So the business mentor I was working with helped me see that, for example, because I run my own business, if I'm not prepared to work with mentors myself, then how can I expect people to work with me as a mentor? If I'm not prepared to invest in offers and opportunities that come my way, then how can I expect people to invest in mine when I put them out for sale? So it got me really thinking, and it really made me shift my way. So for years I've worked with Reiki and other healing tools, and I've really been working on this deep inner work, this shadow work. And I think it's important that we all do this, looking at my shadow self, trying to integrate it, trying to walk my talk as best as possible. I can't sit here as a Reiki teacher and tell you should have a daily practice of meditation if I don't. Or, that you should have a daily spiritual practice if I don't, because that would be, you would feel the energy there, that it wasn't right, because I wasn't walking my talk. And when I first started out in this world, I wasn't always walking my talk, because I was still learning and growing. I am also still learning and growing. We're all a work in progress, aren't we? So anyway, after having this chat with my mentor, I had a word with myself, and I knew I really needed to shift that block, that sabotaging block. So I bought the program. Her sales pitch worked. But already my energy shifted, and already I can see the difference just from working with a mentor. And yeah, I do feel fear, because I think we all do, and the imposter syndrome tries to come up. But because I'm now acting from a place of connection between my inner world and outer world, the imposter's not really there. It's just that slightly excited, strange wee feeling that I get when I know things are going well and that they're going the right direction, or that it's really right for me. It's the slight tingle of fear, but feel the fear and do it anyway. So tell me, how does imposter syndrome show up for you? Do you go for a promotion at work and then feel imposter syndrome creeping in? Is that because you don't feel good enough, or is it because deep down inside you really don't want the promotion, because you want to be out running your own business or doing something else? Perhaps you're in a toxic relationship. Yeah, outwardly you're telling everybody that life's great and you're so in love. Is it a lack of integrity? Do you only do the right thing when people are watching? That one's a difficult one, isn't it? So share your honest answers with me. I'd love to hear. No judgment, just conversation. Be kind in the comments. And if you want, we are going to take this conversation a little bit further in the Rocks and Rituals Mind, Body and Spirit Wellness Facebook group. I'm going to pop a post up in there and try and get a conversation started. So it's a free community for people who are building a life aligned with their spirit and their passion. And it's a place where you can find support and conversation and connection that you might not find anywhere else. So feel free to come along and join it. I'll pop the link into the description for this, or in the comments, and it's on the blog as well. Not on Facebook, don't worry about it, just leave a wee comment in the blog, or leave a comment on the video or on SoundCloud, and I will speak to you all again next week. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you then.